Hello and welcome to the FNS60217 Advanced Diploma of Accounting Student Information Session. With me today, I have Chief Academic Officer Iona McKimmie. Iona, welcome.
Good morning, James. Thank you.
Excellent. Now, the Advanced Diploma of Accounting is ideal for those looking to obviously build on their existing accounting skills if they've perhaps done a Diploma of Accounting before, or currently working in an accounting role, or possibly an executive or chair role, looking to get a deeper understanding of the accounting space as a whole. And with that in mind, I think it's a good idea for us to have a look at the course outline and a little bit of background on some of the outcomes and competencies that the course delivers.
Thanks, James. The Advanced Diploma of Accounting is delivered over 24 months, and it really is a great course for people that are wanting to develop their knowledge and skill for financial analysis, looking at financial statistics, setting KPIs for organisations and analysing how that happens as far as the business performance is concerned. So that evaluation of business performance, developing and interpreting budgets and forecasts, and providing management accounting information across the whole organisation. So the course, as you said in the introduction, isn't necessarily just for those that are working as a management accountant or an assistant accountant. It's also for those other roles, like a business analyst, for example. So the course is very wide ranging in the topics that students learn about and exposed to throughout the course. So the course includes financial reporting, corporate governance activities from a financial and accounting perspective, financial reporting, management accounting, so that operational accounting and that, departmental budgeting functions and costing functions and analysis is very, very important for a lot of businesses, and implementing improvement programs. And above all else, sort of looking at the actual financial performance of the organisation, or of an organisation, I apologise, and evaluating how that organisation is performing. What areas does the organisation need to focus on? What areas does it develop? Where is the organisation really needing more support? And how do you increase the capacity of the organisation, thus its capability? So, as I said, the course it takes a very broad brush as far as management accounting is concerned, and it's a really great course for people in that level of role in an organisation.
And certainly from what I'm seeing, really kind of goes beyond that idea of day-to-day accounting to more strategic analysis, and then using those tools that one would take from financial reports, or information from financial reports, I should say, and then turn that information into a framework for decision making, establishing projects and initiatives in the organisation at probably a higher level than ordinary, say, day-to-day accounting, and then obviously identifying strategies that the way the organisation could respond to that, to, of course, address the outcomes that have been identified in that analytical reporting, focusing, of course, on accounting metrics and KPIs. So the units themselves, by this stage, we've had a look at some of, obviously, what the key outcomes are in the application of this course. How do we expose students to that and bring them up to speed through the units listed in front of us?
Okay, so I mentioned before that the course really takes takes the student on a journey through all of those things that we've talked about. So developing business capability and capacity, analysis, financial and management accounting reporting and interpretation. But it also introduces students on developing and managing financial systems as well, because our financial systems are the key system with our administrative system in any organisation, where all of this data is held, and it's where we generate all of those the reports and the tools that we use. So, for example, our KPI monitoring to be able to undertake our analysis. So we also look at auditing and reporting on financial systems and records, to uptake financial accounting data integrity and management. And again, sort of focusing on that preparation and analysis of accounting information, whether it be financial or management. Excuse me. So the course itself is very much focused on that business improvement and business analysis and systems management that are integral to all good business health. So building on the units of study from the Diploma of Accounting or the skill sets at diploma and advanced diploma level, students are actually then able to go on and develop if you like, a deeper specialist knowledge of management accounting and also financial accounting management and systems.
Excellent. Now, the units themselves are delivered sequentially, which means that's one after the other. And that goes back to what you said about taking students through that journey of understanding obviously the outcomes which we've identified earlier, but then also building on those layers of knowledge one after the other. Now, there's also a note down there about the common units of competency with the FNS60217 Diploma of Accounting. What does that mean for those who are tuning in?
So the common units that are the units that are common, I apologise, with the Diploma of Accounting are actually students, if they have completed their Diploma of Accounting, actually receive a credit for that study entering this course. Excuse me. So they don't, of course, have to repeat those units again, and they move into the core units and the elective units as they're listed here.
Excellent. And that's really important takeaway, because the Advanced Diploma of Accounting can in fact form part of an academic pathway that can be set up from students. So, for example, if you were tuning in today and you're at the very beginning, well, then of course there's an option to start with a, say, FNS 40217, Certificate 4 in Accounting and Bookkeeping, move on into the FNS 50217, which would be the Diploma of Accounting. And then after that, the FNS 60217 being the Advanced Diploma of Accounting, which we're talking about today.
That's correct, James. And it's a great pathway for students. It really develops a deep knowledge for anyone working in an accounting practice or working in the business sector, maybe even running their own business. Or even working as an accounting and bookkeeping service provider for clients of their own. Those are, we find we have students who choose any one of those numerous paths in their accounting studies. And this course allows for students to really develop that deeper knowledge at that higher level, to be able to interpret what they're doing for their clients or for the business that they're working for, or even students that want to. And we find that students that do uptake the pathway that we provide here at Mentor for accounting and bookkeeping studies often move across into other courses as well, and truly develop their knowledge and their skill in their area of expertise or the area of industry that they want to be working in.
Excellent. Now, that's a really good segue into the next bit of information that we've got with respect to entry requirements. Now, it's not an open entry course, which means students are required to have a prerequisite or some degree of previous study, really is what we're trying to say there. Take us through those requirements, Iona.
So, excuse me. So students may have completed the FNS 50217 Diploma of Accounting or the FNS 50217 Diploma of Accounting, or both the FNS 14 Accounting Principles skill set and the Advanced skill set to be eligible for entry into this course. Having said all that, it is very worthwhile speaking with our education advisors here at Mentor Education. There are other qualifications and that could be equivalents for entry to any one of these. So it is very, very, very worthwhile having a chat with our education advisors regarding the entry requirements if you're interested in enrolling in the course.
Yeah, look, I couldn't recommend that enough, particularly those out there who also have a substantial degree of work experience. Now, of course, that is in no way discounted, so that actually could also be taken into account to some degree as part of, I think, a greater entry pathway into this course. And it could be that work experience is coupled with a qualification that may or may not be listed here to of course, assist entry into this particular course if you are looking at doing that. And I think that's really worth making note of, because when we talk about the sort of job roles and relevant occupations that this can apply to, obviously we have very, very much accountancy focused roles up here in front of us, from a forensic accountant to finance manager to auditor, investment analysis, analyst or cost accountant. But of course, we have managerial accounting. You also made mention where we have people or students and candidates coming through who work for themselves, top level executives, and of course, board members of organisations we've had come through and take on the course so that they can get a better understanding and able to better interpret the data that's put to them on whether that be a weekly, monthly or biannual basis when it comes to making those board level decisions with respect to a company. So again, the application of this course is really broad, with testament to the sort of demand that we're seeing out in the industry at the moment for those with accountancy-based skill sets and competencies. Comes by way of some data just from June this year from SEEK. So the average salary of $70,000. That's of course just for a basic level accountancy sort of a role, but a job growth of 8.6%. And I think that's really a number to or a figure to focus on. And furthermore, in an update that we released just recently, and it was in response to a government's COVID response, identification of skill shortages and the sort of visas that they'll be placing emphasis on, certainly with the attached skill sets. And those with accounting, and in particular management accounting skill sets, were identified as a shortfall in the current human capital makeup of the Australian economy with respect to our bounce back. So certainly if we know that the government will be looking outside Australian borders for individuals with those skill sets, they'll be very much be looking inside those borders as well. And it presents a great opportunity for those who are currently here to upskill and obviously respond to that demand, because we know that there is currently and there will be there will be future growth and demand for those particular roles and individuals with those subsequent skill sets. Now, the learning materials themselves, Owen, how's all this brought to life?
So students are provided with all of their learning materials. There's no textbooks to purchase. There's no software to purchase. Anything that's required for the course is included. So students have access to a simulated business that they will work with as their business for the duration of their course. Students are also able to draw on their own business experience in a number of units, not all, but a number of units, if they're already working. So students are also provided with video. There's self-directed learning and research tasks. There is also tutorials that are available to students if they're wanting to take up that option, which are provided live twice a week. So it's a live online classroom twice a week where students are able to come together with their peers and with the educators for the course and still learn in a live environment rather than a pre-recorded environment. So it's a great opportunity for interaction and to explore topics and to get to know their educator who's going to be working with them for the duration of the course. It's also a great opportunity to begin to build that peer network that we build as professionals as well. So it's a great opportunity for students to start to develop their peer network and their linkages for the future. We also provide forums in some units where students are able to interact in a forum online. So there's a broad range of resources I'm just thinking of other things I could include here. There are a couple of units where podcasts are included. There's templates that students are able to utilise after they've completed the course if they want to continue using those templates. So really there's a broad range or a wide range of resources that students are able to access. And students are able to access those in the learning management system, but they're also able to hold, if you like, those learning materials locally, for example. So they're all downloadable, or students are able to request that they have printed copies. So there's an extensive range of different types of learning materials in this course that all support students to really develop their ability and their ability to apply that in the workplace as they go forward in their careers.
Excellent. Now, what we've got up here now in front of us is the types of assessments that students will be exposed to throughout the course. And you'd be able to take us through that. And another question that often comes up, particularly at this time of our student information session, is the application, I think, of learning materials, but also assessments to your current workplace environments. Now, I know we've got exposure to case studies, which you made mention of earlier, but for those who are currently working and obviously applying the templates that you're able to download to your existing workplace, how does that all fit in with the assessments, plus everything else we've got up here?
Thanks, James. Okay, so here at Mentor, we consider your assessment process to be an extension of what you've learned. It's not a big, heavy exam for 3 hours. We encourage students as part of their assessment to take all of their learning and all of their practice and put it into something that's real, that they're going to be doing in the future. And so your assessments might, I'll just speak to the assessment makeup, if you like, or what students experience in an assessment, and then I'll talk about workplaces. So assessments are usually made up of a mix of different things. So they could be short answer questions with a presentation and a research task to research a particular topic, analyse it, and then create a report, for example. Undertake a feasibility study, which wouldn't be uncommon, or develop a business case, which wouldn't be uncommon at this level. Projects that include reporting, a review of administrative systems and financial recording systems, and a brief implementation plan for that into a business. So all assessments are a mix of different types of tasks. It would be very rare for any assessment to have every one of these that are listed on the screen. Commonly it's 2 or 3 of these different types of tasks that you can see here on the screen. So a project could be to create a suite of business reports for a business. It could be to create a financial management audit procedure as part of learning. So there are a whole range of different things that happen in the project assessments. Case studies and scenarios are literally looking at a specific context and a specific event or a specific business and responding about how we would undertake certain tasks or respond to certain situations in that given context. So we do a number of case study practice exercises, if you like, throughout the course in the self-directed learning activities. But I think the question that you ask about can I use my existing workplace, or do I have to do what's in the course? So there are some units where you must use the simulated business to complete the assessment task, but there are some other units where you're able to actually utilise your own workplace and workplace examples. For those students that are not currently working or don't currently have, I apologise, I said that badly. For those students that don't have access at the moment to a workplace, we provide a simulated business, and students will utilise and access that simulated business throughout the course to undertake their assessment tasks. So they're able to substitute in some units but not in all. And in all units, students have access to the simulated business.
Excellent. So what I thought I'd do next is talk a little bit about the online learning experience. So we have learners come in from a whole myriad of backgrounds. Some are very familiar with the online learning experience and some it's completely new. So what I want to do is just talk about, I think, some of the key requirements that are attached to engaging with the education and, of course, this course in an online environment. Now, the first thing you're going to need access to, of course, is a laptop or desktop computer. Now, that's not to say that you aren't able to access readings and student information through your learning portal or your learning management system through a smart device, such as a phone or a tablet. However, for completing the assignments, it is a requirement that you have, of course, access to a laptop or desktop computer. The other thing that you'll need is a strong and reliable internet connection. Now, that, of course, is so that you can access the learning management system and the online student portal. And that's done through your internet browser. So that could be Chrome or Firefox or really or the Mac equivalent. And of course, the other thing that we made mention of is the live online classroom-based virtual tutorials. And this is an opportunity, as Iona said earlier, to engage with your educator in real time. Work through the learning material and the assessments to some degree in a really interactive environment where you can get feedback instantly. What's nice about this is also the regularity of it. So having access to these on a weekly basis means that you're able to align your study schedule with the units as they're delivered in the tutorials. However, that said, by no means is it set in stone. And of course, you do have access to recordings of previous online classroom-based tutorials if you missed them, and they're, of course, all made available for you. So in addition to being able to interact and ask questions and get feedback in real time, you also have that benefit of that sense of connectivity, which often you don't get in a remote learning environment. The other thing which we also made mention of was that ability to interact with your cohort and peers in that virtual online environment. So that's, of course, beneficial from the point of view of establishing a professional network, which can be beneficial now, but also in the future. But also being able to share your learning experience with other individuals who are going through the same thing as you. And it's really nice to be able to build that network and have that sense of connectivity that you may get in a traditional, say, campus environment, albeit done virtually. So the online learning experience, in summary, access it through your laptop, desktop, through your internet browser with a reasonable internet connection. Online classroom-based virtual tutorials available, which are essentially Zoom sessions. So of course, and all the software and anything that you need to engage in this online learning experience is made available to you. So there's no additional charges. And the same thing applies for textbooks or resubmissions or whatever it may be, which we'll talk about in just a moment. Now, with respect to student support, there's a whole range of support available for you. In really simple terms, there's phone and email support available 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. Of course, email support, you're welcome to submit requests and requests for support after hours, and you'll get a response within 48 hours at the absolute most, but more often than not, it's obviously a lot faster than that. Now, there's also additional support options available for students as they're working through the course material and the assessments by way of one-on-one support. I'm going to talk to us a little bit about that.
Thanks, James. We understand that sometimes for students and everyone, life happens. We're in a world at the moment where very much life happens and things happen. So one of the things that we do here at Mentor Education is we do provide additional support in the form of one-to-one tutoring with our trainers and educators. So students are able to actually book an additional appointment with the trainer or the educator for their course and spend some time together with them discussing their study needs or working through an assessment challenge or even just having a catch up and a how am I going in my course conversation. That's always available to our students here at Mentor Education. Students really just need to contact service at mentor.edu.au and ask for that booking to be made for them. We provide a range of other supports as well for students. So, for example, there's no charge for extensions, suspensions, resubmissions or remarking. There's no charge for the additional one-on-one support sessions. But there are other thing that we also do make available for students every week is an assessment and study support session or tutorial for those students that are subscribed to the tutorials. So I'd really, can only encourage students who are returning to study after a while, or very new to study, or very new to study at this level, to consider the taking up the options for the tutorials that are provided, rather than just the self-paced course. So as I said, there's a wide range of supports that are available. Those additional one-on-one study support sessions are usually made available Monday to Friday, but we understand people are busy, and that a number of our students are also working as they're studying. So those additional sessions are made available on Saturday afternoons between 2 and 4 as well, or on a very limited basis after hours on weekdays. So, excuse me. So students are able to access our student support team from between 9 and 5, and actually be asked to put through to an educator as well via phone. There are the additional booking times, which are very limited, so they do need to be booked in advance. And the study support and assessment support tutorials that are provided weekly as well. So there's a very, very wide range of support that's available to our students here at Mentor.
Excellent. And I think what's great about it is it really is from beginning to end. So really from the first day that you pick up the phone and submit an inquiry or send an email through or whatever it may be, you put in contact with one of the dedicated education advice consultants who will speak to you about what qualification is that you want to do, where do you want to go with your career, what have you done in the past, and how's that going to fit in with what you're attempting to do now. From there, you've got access then, of course, to a student support officer who will assist you with setting up your learning management system, getting access to the course, any of those nuts and bolts queries that you may have with respect to accessing online learning. And then, of course, finally, the education support that's available directly through the educators. So it really kind of spans the whole, I suppose, qualification or learning process or whatever it may be. So, I think one thing that I always say is communicate, communicate, communicate. So irrespective, if you think it's a silly question and you're not sure, pick up the phone, send us an email, submit a request, and certainly one of the team members, whoever's most appropriate for that request, will get right back to you. Now, a number of questions that we're often asked from students is, the first one is, can I get government funding? And the short answer to that is no. So all of our courses are self-funded. However, we do have a number of payment plans and flexible payment options available for those who are in a position to, of course, cover the initial enrolment fee 100% upfront. With respect to starting, you can start at just about any time, but we do recommend, if you'd like to start that day or that night, get your enrolment into us by 4 p.m. that day, and there's a good chance that you'll be up and running by that night, and of course 4 p.m. on Fridays, and then you're able to start that particular weekend. It's really easy to do. Of course, you can access it directly through an online enrolment portal where you put all your information, your details in. Really streamlined, really secure, and again, comes back to this idea of accessibility. So that doesn't just extend to the course material and assessments being accessible, it also extends to the enrolment process and the whole learning experience of it at Mentor. Yes, it is all included. So whether that be learning materials, so no additional purchase of the textbooks. If you need additional software or to complete a certain unit, as is the case in some courses, we make that available for students by way of student versions. Resubmissions for assessments, no, there's no additional fees, anything like that. So it's all included. And you have that peace of mind, of course, that anything and everything that you need to achieve that qualification is covered in that enrolment fee for you. Now, we talked a little bit about the difference in study options. We've also talked a lot about the advantages and benefits and what's included in the tutorials. There is, of course, a self-directed option available for students, but we do 99% of the time recommend that students take advantage of the tutorial option to really get a deeper understanding of the course, improve that sense of connectivity, get that feedback, establish a network. Obviously, the benefits of that are numerous, and that's really the reasons why we emphasise students take advantage of those tutorials. Yes, the course is nationally recognised, so in all states and territories around Australia. There are a number of prerequisites, which we talked about earlier on, but of course it can be a little bit complicated, particularly if it's your first time working in this space. So I always encourage you to pick up the phone, give us a call or send us an email. And with respect to how long it takes to finish, the prescribed time is 24 months. Now, that's not to say if you were to dedicate more hours each week than perhaps is what required, you may be able to finish it a little bit sooner. Or if life happens and you might need to be in a position where you need to suspend your course for a week or a month or whatever it may be, it may take a little bit longer. So really coming back to that idea of the prescribed time, 24 months is really a good number to work backwards from. Now, continuing on from that support's produced some really, really good outcomes, not just for us as a training institution, but of course our students. And we've got a number of these outcomes up here in front of us now. Talk to us about those, Iota.
So every year the National Centre for Vocational Education and Research undertakes a student survey across Australia and its territories, and it asks students how about their training and their courses and how they felt about it. So very proudly here on the screen, this is what our students said about us in 2020. So and I believe that these big numbers here, if you like, really demonstrate our commitment to our students and their career aspirations and their education aspirations. So 92% of our graduates were employed or went on to enrol in further study after completing their course with us. 91.6% of our students were satisfied with the quality of their training, and 90.2% of the students were satisfied with their assessment and the assessment process. And 86.5% would recommend Mentor as a training provider. I think these numbers, as they really represent our students and our student cohort and how our students feel about us, really demonstrate to anyone thinking about studying us here with Mentor Education that we believe in your future, and we really work very, very hard to support you to achieve all of your study goals and and ensure that your education and training journey is a very, very positive one, and it has the outcome that you're requiring from your efforts and your study.
Now, finally, if you'd like more information about what we've talked about today, or of course, if you'd like to enrol, there's a number of ways that you can do that. So probably the most direct way is to head on over to mentor.edu.au and look at the FNS60217 Advanced Diploma of Accounting course page. For those who've got their mobile handy and you want to scan that QR code up there in front of you, that'll take you directly to that course page where you can get all the information that we've talked about today, plus more. With respect to contacting us direct, you can give us a call on 1300 306 146 or email us at courseconsultant@mentor.edu.au. Submit your inquiry, any questions you may have, and one of our education advice team members will be able to get back to you. And if none of those means suit you, of course, jump directly on the website. We've got a live instant messaging chat feature where you can actually chat in real time with one of our education advice consultants. So, as always, thank you very much for tuning in today. Iona, thank you for your time.
Thank you, James. It's been great to be here talking about the Advanced Diploma of Accounting.
And we certainly look forward to seeing you all, the students, very soon. And as always, take an opportunity to excite your potential, and we'll see you next time.